Hi, this is Phil Shapiro. I was shopping at the food co-op in the town where I live and work, Tacoma Park, Maryland. And outside the food co-op, they have a little free library. I work at the big free library, but I find it irresistible to take a peek inside the little free library to see if I can find any treasures there. Last month, I took a peek inside and I found this book, The Little Book of Hygge, Danish Secrets to Happy Living. And this book is a gem. It's a 2017 book, about 220 pages, a short little book, one of those short books with big ideas, small books with big ideas. I lived in Denmark as a kid, so for me this was like a trip back to my childhood. I lived there for 3 years, from ages 4 to 7, and I think my pronunciation is pretty correct. The Little Book of Hygge. When I was a kid, I used to speak fluent Danish. And even though I don't speak Danish much today, I can pronounce the Danish dessert called hotgrød med fløde. And look it up here on YouTube. It's very easy to pronounce. You just say it, hotgrød med fløde. So it's a porridge with red berries in it. So there we go. Let's take a look at this book. Here's the back cover. The Danes are famously the happiest people in the world, and hygge is a cornerstone of their way of life. The author of the book is the CEO of the Happiness Research Institute in Copenhagen. In Copenhagen, they pronounce it København in Danish. København. And he's spent years studying the magic of Danish life and what makes people happy. And hygge it's a word that doesn't have a single word translation to other languages because it's a word with multiple kind of meanings. I went looking to find some videos about the author of the book, and here are some very interesting videos. I recommend them to you. You can look up the author's name on YouTube. Here's an interview. And here's another one, The Secrets of the World's Happiest People. And this is his new book. He's written a new book. So there's a new book, and you can find out more about that. The Danish Key to Happiness. I guess this is This Morning America. So here's the introduction of the book. They say, it doesn't matter how you pronounce it. Hygge has been called everything from the art of creating intimacy to coziness of the soul and the absence of annoyance. It means taking pleasure from the presence of soothing things, cozy togetherness, and cocoa by candlelight. So it's a little bit like that word from Africa, Ubuntu. It's a word with a kind of a deep meaning that doesn't translate into just one word. Denmark's position as one of the happiest countries in the world has created a lot of media interest. On a weekly basis, I'm asked questions, why are Danes so happy? And what can we learn from the Danes when it comes to happiness? So he talks about the Happiness Research Institute. What might also be unique for Denmark when it comes to hygge is how much we talk about it, focus on it, and consider it as a defining feature of our cultural identity and an integral part of the national DNA. In other words, what freedom is to Americans, thoroughness is to Germans, and the stiff upper lip is to British, hygge is to Danes. Because of its importance to Danish cultural and identity, the Danish language is also rich when it comes to talking about hygge. So there's other words connected with hygge. There's a word fredagshygge, søndagshygge. That's Friday and Sunday hygge. That's rather amusing. Hygge comes in the form of both a verb and an adjective. Something can be hyggelig, hygge-like. So you say a living room is a hyggelige living room. Or you can have a hyggelige time at an event. Very, very interesting. Down here at the bottom it says, hygge is a key performance indicator of most Danish social gatherings. Honey, do you think our guests hygged themselves. That's the past tense. Don't attempt to pronounce it. Yep, don't attempt to pronounce it. Hygge is about an atmosphere and experience rather than about things. It's a feeling of home and safety, and it's also the absence of annoyance. And then I liked this part of the book. This quote was really interesting to me. In one of his studies, which involved interviewing over 1,000 people, some were told to keep gratitude journals, writing down what they were grateful for on a weekly basis. The researchers found that gratitude has psychological, physical, and social benefits. The people who wrote the gratitude journals reported feeling more positive emotions like alertness and enthusiasm, reported better sleep and fewer symptoms of disease, and were more mindful of situations where they could be helpful. So that is really, really interesting. This cultural identity of Hygge, it might make people happier, and the gratitude journals are another tool for doing that. Hygge may help us to be grateful for the everyday because it's all about savoring simple pleasures. Hygge is making the most of the moment, but Hygge is also a way of planning for and preserving happiness. Danes plan hyggelige times and reminisce about them afterwards. So what a very, very interesting book. One of those books that about other cultures and ideas, and I think, you know, the Scandinavians, all the Scandinavian countries, which may or may not include Finland. I think Finland might be either included or not included, but they all, the Northern European countries, they all have some important things to teach us on a wide array of topics. So check to see if your own public library owns a copy of this. If they don't own this book, ask them to buy it, because it does spark conversations, and I do think you'll find it interesting. To view other video books, you can go to sites.google.com/site Phil Shapiro Book Reviews. And here is my contact information. You can follow me on Twitter. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's a nice little way of saying thank you for the book reviews I make. I love making these book reviews, but if you find them useful, you can thank me just by subscribing to my YouTube channel. See you next time. Bye.